If you've ever said yes when every part of you was screaming no, you're not alone. Maybe it was agreeing to help a friend move when you were already exhausted. Maybe it was saying yes to taking on an extra project at work, even though your to-do list was already overflowing. Or maybe it was telling someone you'd be there for an event you secretly dreaded, just to avoid letting them down. On the surface, these moments might seem small, but over time, they chip away at your energy, your confidence, and even your self-respect. Because when you keep ignoring your own boundaries, you start to forget where you end and where everyone else begins. And it's not just about the task itself. It's about the silent agreement you're making, the one where you tell yourself again and again that what you need will always come second. Today, we're going to explore why it's so hard to say no, even when you want to, and how to start breaking free from that cycle without feeling like you're letting everyone down. The tendency to say yes when you want to say no usually doesn't appear out of nowhere. For many of us, it starts early. As children, we're constantly learning what gets us approval and what gets us in trouble. If you grew up in an environment where love felt conditional, you might have learned that compliance kept you safe. Maybe you were praised for being helpful and good, but scolded or shamed when you disagreed or spoke up. Some of us learned it in even more subtle ways, like parents who praised selflessness but rarely modeled healthy boundaries themselves. Maybe you saw adults around you constantly overextend, cancel their own plans, or stay quiet to avoid rocking the boat. Over time, this creates a survival strategy. Keep people happy and you'll be okay. It's not that you consciously think this every time, it becomes automatic. So when someone asks for your help, your default answer is yes. Not because you truly want to, but because that old wiring tells you it's safer than saying no. And here's the important thing to remember. This wasn't weakness. It was intelligence. You adapted to survive. The challenge is that what kept you safe back then may be keeping you stuck now. Saying yes when you want to say no is usually powered by 3 deep drivers. 1. Fear of rejection. You might fear that saying no will cost you a relationship, make someone think less of you, or even cause them to leave. 2. Fear of conflict. Avoiding tension feels easier than standing your ground, especially if you've experienced conflict as unsafe or overwhelming. 3. Self-worth tied to usefulness. If your value feels directly linked to how much you do for others, saying no can feel like erasing your worth. Psychologists often call this people-pleasing, and while it can look like kindness, it's often rooted in anxiety, a way of controlling how others see you and avoiding the discomfort of disapproval. The tricky part, people-pleasing can feel good in the moment. You get that instant relief when the other person smiles, thanks you, or sees you as dependable. But the cost comes later, in the form of burnout, resentment, and a quieter but more painful question. If I stopped doing all this for everyone else, would they still want me around? It might seem harmless to agree to just one more thing, but those little yeses can carry a big cost. First, there's the burnout, the kind that sneaks up on you. You keep giving without enough time to refill your own cup until you're running on fumes. Then, there's the way you start to lose yourself. Instead of living as the full, complex person you are, you begin to feel like a role you're playing, the helper, the fixer, the one everyone can count on, but rarely the one who gets to just be. And let's be honest, even with people you love, resentment can creep in. It's not that you stop caring, but that constant giving without balance can leave you feeling taken for granted. There's also what you miss out on. Because every yes to something you don't truly want is really a no to something you do want, whether that's rest, a creative project, or time with someone who fills you up instead of draining you. Sometimes the cost is subtle. You don't notice the resentment right away, but it shows up in how distant you feel from people you used to feel close to, or in the way you quietly stop making plans for yourself because there's just no room left for them. And maybe the most painful cost is this: you start to lose trust in yourself. Each time you override your own needs, you send yourself the message, "What I want doesn't matter." Over time, that message can settle so deeply that you stop even asking yourself what you truly want. Even when you logically know you should say no, your body might react with guilt, anxiety, or even panic. That's because your nervous system has been trained to see boundaries as dangerous. If, in your past, saying no led to rejection, anger, or punishment, your body remembers. That memory isn't always conscious. It lives in muscle tension, a racing heartbeat, a knot in your stomach. Your body braces for impact, even when there's no real threat in the present. This is why personal growth isn't just about willpower, it's about nervous system retraining. Your mind has to learn a new truth, that you can say no and still be safe, still be loved, still belong. The only way to prove that to yourself is through lived experience, starting small and building up so your body can see that the danger it expects isn't coming. Here are a few gentle steps to start building that muscle. 1. Pause before responding. When someone asks something of you, don't answer right away. Try saying, "Let me check my schedule and get back to you." That little pause interrupts your automatic yes. 2. Check in with your body. Think about saying yes. Does it feel light and open or tight and heavy? Your body is often more honest than your mind. 3. Practice micro boundaries. Start with low-stakes situations, declining an extra errand, leaving a group chat, or asking for a different table at a restaurant. These small wins build your confidence. 4. Replace apology with gratitude. Instead of "I'm sorry I can't," try "Thanks for thinking of me, but I won't be able to." It's still warm and kind, without making you sound guilty for having limits. 5. Expect discomfort. The goal isn't to erase guilt. It's to move forward even when guilt shows up, and let experience show you that your relationships can survive your truth. Boundaries are easier to set when you believe you deserve to have them. That belief often comes from healing the old stories about who you need to be loved. This can mean revisiting moments in childhood when you learned it wasn't safe to speak up, working with a therapist or coach to untangle worth from service, surrounding yourself with people who respect your boundaries without needing explanations. Sometimes it's about forgiving yourself for all the times you didn't say no, and recognizing that you were doing the best you could with the tools you had. As you heal, you begin to see that your value isn't conditional. You're not lovable because of what you do for others. You're lovable because of who you are. The beauty of learning to say no is that it transforms your yes. When you do say yes, it comes from a place of choice, not obligation. You show up with your full energy, without the undercurrent of resentment. And your relationships shift. They become more honest, because you're no longer performing or hiding your true feelings. This is the kind of yes that feels expansive instead of heavy. It's the kind that makes room for you to live your life on your terms. And it's the kind that lets you trust yourself again, because you know you're no longer abandoning yourself in the process. If you've spent years saying yes when you meant no, you are not broken. You were simply protecting yourself in the way you knew how. Now, you have the chance to protect yourself differently, with boundaries, with truth, and with the kind of yes that actually feels good to give. If this resonated with you, subscribe to Psyche and Mind Doorway, because every week we unpack the hidden patterns that keep you stuck and give you the tools to finally live differently. Your mind is the doorway, and you hold the key. In the comments, write "I choose my yes" to remind yourself and declare to others that your energy is yours to give. Remember, every time you choose what's right for you, you teach the world how to love the real you.